Welcome to What the World Needs Now with hosts Tom Whisinnand and Josh Monroe. We hope that you're able to leave feeling encouraged and ready for another day of changing lives in the field of education as we speak with inspirational teachers from across the nation and world about what keeps their spark lit.
In this episode, we talked to Hari Krishna, an absolutely incredible teacher from India, about how he inspires his students to learn English with a little help from a few hundred teachers from all around the globe.
Yeah, this is Hari Krishna, and I have been teaching in this part of India. Actually, I am situated, my region located in southern part of India. It's called Andhra Pradesh, and quite close to the Bay of Bengal. I have been teaching as an English teacher since 2005. So when I entered this profession, I started with one obligation of bringing some reforms in teaching. When it comes to myself, so that is what my appointment and details. When it comes to myself, yes, I'm a teacher of English. At the same time, my wife is also a teacher, and she is also working at the elementary school. And I have been blessed with the two beautiful daughters. So we are living in a small village called Battiprolu, and which is just 3 kilometers away from my school where I am working at present. But I love my job. I am really passionate about doing something for my rural students whose parents are still illiterate. They don't know what their children are doing. So a lot of commitment, a lot of dedication. I'm still working hard and hard, but sometimes it's really hard for me to convince their parents, their illiterate parents, how important English is. But still, I am working very, very hard. But do you believe or not, even I am not caring my own children, and I am giving first priority for my students. So often my wife keeps telling me that you please take care of your children. First priority should be given to your children. But my point of view, first priority should be given to my students because they trust me as a teacher. So my first priority goes to my students first.
Well, Hari, you have done such an amazing job. It has been such an honor to connect with you and connect with your students multiple times. And I was on holiday myself when you made the first connection and gave me the opportunity to speak to your students. And then my students were able to create books about animals and send them to you. Tell us about some of the other professors or teachers or professionals that you've really inspired your students with.
Yeah. So I have been doing these kind of projects almost right from 2017. I have started these kind of projects very seriously. So far, I have connected my students with almost 120 teachers and as well as the professors. And more than that, I have even collaborated with 300 schools across the globe. So almost 20 schools have been exchanging their pen pal letters with my students. So more than that, the number is actually is not important for me, and the kind of enthusiasm, the kind of knowledge, and the variation that my students have, because I want the English subject to be taught not in a traditional method. So I want the English subject to be taught in a different way from what other teachers teach in other classrooms of my region in a traditional way. So they just permit their levels, maybe their way of thinking, only the textbook. So I want the teacher of English should go beyond the textbook. Then only you can expose the children to the world. So this particular platform like Zoom and Penpal have given me a great opportunity as well as for my students to expose themselves to the world. So they come to know many interesting facts because when my students, correspondent with your students, they came to know many facts about America. And similarly, they are coming to know many interesting facts about different countries spread across the globe. So this is how they are not only improving their communicative skills, they are knowing the world, they are reading the world, they are coming to know about important factors, and so that we can mold them to be the global citizens. Because what do we need today? Today world has become a global village, a small village. So today I am able to talk with you living in a small village located in the southern part of India. So it was just impossible when I was studying as a student of my student's age. So it was quite unimaginable for me and to communicate with a teacher who is living in America. But today it is possible due to the technology, the advancement in the technology. So I must say that as a teacher, you have many opportunities, many platforms like Zoom and Platform. There are many other programs are there. So you have to involve your students and in order to improve their communicative skills, in order to make them global citizens. You no longer be the Indian. You are a global citizen. I must say that. So we should not restrict ourselves to the nationalities like I am American, I am Indian. You are a global citizen. So being a global citizen, you have to go beyond your limits where you can get the opportunities that are there in this world.
I love that. And you're taking your classroom and you're breaking the walls down and they're traveling the world. That's awesome. What is it that got you into education? Like you're doing some awesome things. What is it that motivated you to change the world the way that you are?
Yeah. So the thing that I have observed over the years, as I have just told you that I started my journey way back 2005. So after starting my journey in 2005, I have observed a few things. I must say that there are some drawbacks in our education system. And in our education system, what happens that most of the teachers, they spend their time just reading the textbook. They try to translate each and every word in our mother tongue. So what happens in this process? Children lose their maybe interest towards the English language. So this particular system it has been continuing over years. So the government has not yet changed it. So what I have observed that instead of changing the approach of our maybe the hierarchy, maybe the hierarchies, because it's just impossible for me to bring to the notice of hierarchies because there is a group of maybe professors and academicians. They frame the curriculum. So instead of giving them, instead of writing them letters to this hierarchy and to change the academic, the framework, the complete academic framework. So I have thought of bringing some reforms in my classroom and instead of bringing the reforms in the entire my region. So I thought of seriously. So after thinking it seriously, I in fact explored many maybe ways. What can I do to bring my students the global exposure? To do something in my language instead of just limiting myself to the textbook. After thinking like that, and one fine day, one fine morning, I happened to buy a smartphone. It happened way back 2015. So after spending a lot of time, I must say that I wasted my time almost 10 years time, 2005 to maybe 2016. 10 years I wasted my time. And being an English teacher, I was unable to do something which is good for my students. I still regret, but what could I do? I have at least realized right now, and compared to the other English teachers in my region, I have been doing something good for my students. So one fine day, I happened to buy a smartphone. And as you know, the smartphone, we have ad requests are there on Facebook. We have ad requests. I just, I don't know whether I intentionally did it or maybe without any intention, but I just sent an ad request to one teacher. I don't know whether he's a teacher or maybe a professor. And fortunately, it was Canadian professor actually, and who accepted my request. So that's the first request that I sent to the Canadian professor, and whose name is Nicholas Walker. He's still in touch with me, and he's backing me every day, and he supports me a lot. So that's the starting journey of my global exposure. So, and since then, I have started building a network of 3,000 teachers across the globe. So, including the Tom and my best friend. So, in this way, I spread them. After that, I think that I think seriously that yes, we in India, as you know, that India is still a developing country. Most of the schools are not equipped with the technology like smart boards and laptops and even computers. So 2016 and 2000 up to until 2016, I did nothing actually for my students in the case of giving them a global exposure. And 2017, I was transferred to one school where the school is equipped with a smart board and the very fast internet facility. So that's where I started my journey, and thanks to the school facilities. At the same time, the classroom, if we look at the classroom, at the time it was quite faded with lots of flakes are coming out from the wall, and it's not good one to conduct the global sessions. So immediately I approached the locals and I tried to pull the funds from the locals. So with the help of the local people and maybe the students who studied in the same school, the farmer students, I also sought the help of the farmer students and the students and from some other elders of the village. I transformed the entire classroom into a global classroom, and where you can see all my uh, what we call other culture and traditions reflect in the very classroom. If you look at my classroom, you can understand what India is. So in such a way, I transformed the classroom, and in order to represent India, what India is, you can look at my classroom, you can understand. In fact, this session actually is my home, but if you are able to conduct this session in my classroom, you can understand how the classroom represents how good it is, and how India, how my classroom carries the cultures and traditions of India. So that's not the only change that I brought about in transforming my classroom. And there are many other steps. I tried to convince the head teacher, and I tried to convince the other teachers, and I just try to prevail upon them. I try to prevail upon them and in order to change their mindset, because their mindsets are so traditional, and they want to limit themselves. They want to see their students only to textbook, textbook, textbook. They don't want to go. They don't want to actually go beyond the textbook. So I tried my level best to convince their mindsets. And next step is, and so yes, requesting the friends across the globe to connect with my students. But it is not easy task. In fact, it that too regularly it's not easy task, but you have to convince them. At the same time zones are different. For example, you are living in America and I'm living in India, so our time zones both are different. So but fortunately, I must say that most of the teachers that collaborated with me are very kind, very nice people, and so they cooperated with me, and they uh, connected with my students. Yet their night times, even midnights also. There are a few people. They connected with my students even at the midnight, even 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock also. They actually what we call it, they sacrificed their sleeping time, and they were able to connect with my students. So there are many academicians, teachers, professors, like from Japan to Canada, and even from Russia to Sri Lanka. Everybody they cooperated me, and almost every day I was able to organize this Zoom class. But my intention is only one intention. The intention is to make them feel English is a different one, not just the same one limited to the textbook. They have to feel differently. But the outcome, when it comes to outcome from my students, they gained immense confidence. They gained very good confidence in English. So these were the same children and used to be feel fear of speaking English even in front of their students, in front of their friends. But the same students today are able to speak confidently among their peer group and even before the morning assembly. And even more than that, they are able to speak confidently with the foreign teachers like you. So that's the change. That's the drastic change I have brought about in my children. So I feel that I feel really content with that maybe performance that I have done, but still a long way to go. Still a long way to go because the reason is there are many children, they are still unavailable to these Zoom classes due to the lack of electronic equipments, electronic gadgets, because most of the children, the parents are very poor and they can't even afford to buy a smartphone. And so they even can't get a square meal a day. So they are so poor. So from my friend and whatever the help that is needed to them, I am helping. But I can't afford to buy the smartphones for each and every student because I am not a millionaire. So, but I try my level best to bring them to this Zoom classes, but still a long way to go. And so I am trying to communicate with their parents every time. I am inquiring about their welfare, maybe the financial status, and I am even informing them about the progress that their children are making in English. So this is how I am progressing at the moment, but still a long way to go. But fortunately, two teachers and from your country, USA, and one teacher from Sweden have adopted two poor students in my school. So that's a major breakthrough. That's a major breakthrough as far as my entire programs are concerned. So these two children are getting financial assistance from two teachers. They are getting financial assistance, but still there is a large number of students who are still deprived of joining these sessions, and their financial status is still low. But as a teacher, I am trying my level best. But my philosophy is saying that instead of giving them financial assistance, if we make them good at English, if we make them good at academically, if we make them good, then definitely they can maybe survive in this world. If they learn to survive in this world with these communicator skills, they can get a good job in future, so that they can feed their family. They can even feed themselves. So that is the motto we are going at the moment. But still, there are so many challenges. I am ready to face them, but still, I am so determined and so committed to do what I am doing, and I will committed to do even in the future also with the same mottos, the same values. So
I
that's
want
all about the
I want to tell you that you are an inspiration to me professionally and personally. I want to tell you that your students are a huge, huge source of inspiration to my students, because I continually tell my students, excuse me, that your students know another language other than English, and they are learning English, and the cards and letters that your students wrote were so beautifully well done. The parents of my students were just absolutely astonished and thrilled to have their students receive those letters. So thank you for being such an amazing, amazing inspiration to students in America and parents in America, teachers in America. And it's just absolutely amazing what you're doing, Harry. So tell me a little bit about what it was like during the pandemic in India and being a teacher in India. In the United States, the schools shut down. We were able to do some remote learning. but and some of us are back in school right now. Josh and I are both in person. Tell us about your pandemic experience, if you would.
So before I tell you something about the pandemic experiences, and let me tell you a little bit about the pen pal activity. So pen pal activity, I have already briefed you about the 20 countries have been involving in exchanging letters with my students. But every time the pen pal activity itself is a costly affair. So I have to spend the money from my own pocket because the school management is not going to shell out anything from their pocket. So every time I send a packet of letters to the other country, and in fact, I have to spend the money from my own pocket. But at the same time, I feel the kind of contentment I have when the student receive a letter from a foreign country like America and from other countries, and I can't even maybe the value that they have in terms of the letters and in the form of letters. So the money is not a matter for me, in fact. So much money actually was spent so far in this postage or something like that. So this is the reason, because sharing this fact is that these are the bases where most of the teachers, they are so commercialized. I'm not talking about your country. In my region, they are so commercialized. They are looking for the money in each and every activity. They're trying to get money from each and every activity. But in fact, the kind of activity that I have been doing for the last few years, it's a costly affair. But still, I am doing it because of the kind of joy, the kind of maybe the happiness that the students get, and when they receive the letters from the other end of the globe. So that is quite invaluable. So when it comes to the pandemic actually really shook us a lot and really troubled us a lot in the month of March, and we started reporting the cases in the March. But in the March and April, May, and even June, July, August, and all these 7 months, in fact, 7 months, we were in fact not allowed to go to school, and we were limited to only our homes. So during this period, as you know that India is still a developing country, and we don't have any other electronic media support, maybe to interact with the students. So in order to organize our classes, I mean online classes, every student should have one electronic gadget like smartphone. When they don't have the smartphones, we can't organize even any online classes. But in the month of May, I took the initiative of connecting my students through WhatsApp. So WhatsApp, I have formed a WhatsApp group, and in which I started adding the students. So through the WhatsApp, I first started teaching some lessons. But online I mean that Zoom and maybe Skype are the only the platforms where you can teach the students face to face. But through WhatsApp also I started teaching them. But my intention is only one thing, that something is better than nothing. When they don't have the online face-to-face connections, so WhatsApp, through WhatsApp we can do something. And I used to give them some homework and some activity, and they used to respond in very little time, and they respond very quickly, and I corrected them and took them almost many hours to correct their works, because there are many students are there in the group. So they kept sending me their responses. So I had to correct their answers on WhatsApp, but it was very hard. But after a few months, I started one initiative. I took the one initiative of mobilizing the village elders. There are a few village elders. They had the smartphones. I requested the village elders to lend their cell phones to the poor students who are living in their neighborhood. so that the students can utilize online classes at least for 30 minutes or maybe 40 minutes. So, but I partially got success in this effort, and only 25% actually taking part in the WhatsApp, and another maybe 80% students we can't actually pull them, but 70% of the students finally they started attending the Zoom classes with the help of the village elders, because the village elders provided them their own cell phones just for the sake of online classes, and 70% of students finally they started receiving the online classes. So this particular sessions continued until November, because we were back to school in the month of November. So yeah, now month of November. So November onwards, I think the completely normalcy has been restored in India, and we are back to school. Everything is normal now, and no more corona cases here in this part of India. So complete normalcy has been restored. So even examinations, children are playing outside with no mask, with no protection, and they even yeah, nothing actually. But even though the school management they ask the children to sanitize their hands once in a while, but the children are not caring. And since the pandemic is under control, even the state and even the school management also not taking any precautionary measures to alert the students against this particular deadly virus. But we are completely normal at the moment. But during the pandemic period, we really struggled a lot when it comes to the teaching the students through the online mode. But in my effort, I think I just tried my level best to connect the students. But it was impossible. But I thought it was impossible. But I made it possible at one point of the time, and so that's the story. Still, but it is quite memorable experience for me, because I have never seen this kind of phenomena in my entire teaching career, and since from 2005. Maybe it's memorable. I don't know whether this is going to happen in the future, but this is a great experience. My efforts still, I feel really happy when I look back those moments of how I approached the students, how I made a phone call to the parents, convincing them to attend the online classes. So still a great memory for me.
I think that that's really important during this time, is that we, as we reflect back, we think about the good things that came from it. For us, Friday was the mark of a year from school being shut down. And so we took time in our class to think back. It's easy to focus on the bad things that have happened, but let's take a moment and let's think about all the great things that we've done in the last year and the things that we want to keep from this. And where do you see school going for you now? Now that we've hopefully been through the bad part of this and we've gained these
Yes.
these new understandings, where do you see school going for you?
Yeah, you mean that we are back to school? The reason for backing to school,
Like
you mean?
like do you see any, like, what are the positive changes that have come out for you that you are going to continue to do, or is there a revelation that you had throughout the pandemic that now you're gonna implement or change in your pedagogy?
So definitely there are the many lessons I must say that I have learned through this pandemic period. The best lesson that I have learned is I was actually I learned how to teach the students through the online mode. So far, I have just brought my students to the world, but I have never thought of teaching or approaching my students, maybe teaching my subject. But through this pandemic, I have learned to teach the students. In fact, using the Zoom app, and there are many teachers are there in the Zoom. and their whiteboard is there. So using the whiteboard, I learned how to teach the students using the whiteboard, and I have learned many basics in Zoom features. I'm really familiarized with the Zoom here. At the same time, from the student point of view, students who never heard about the online classes, even the sixth graders and seventh graders, they have just they have become so familiar. I think the Zoom itself has become a buzzword among the students, and they have come to know how to use the Zoom and how they can install the Zoom app and how can they connect with the teachers. The complete information they have come to know because of this pandemic. So due to this pandemic, I think the children have got an awareness how they can how they can learn the lessons through the online. And the positive changes, yes, there are even though they can sit in and their home and they can learn the lessons, they can still manage to complete their academic syllabus. But the negative side, I think, if you teach online and from your home, it is not always possible to concentrate all the students. If there are 50 students, 40 students are there, you can't even question them every time. But in the regular classes, we can focus all the students. We just assess whether the student is following our lesson or not. But online classes, definitely, it's not going to be possible. But in my point of view, students have learned many things and how they can connect with the teacher sitting in their homes. But at the same time, from my point of view, I have just found I have just found the ways, the means, how I can connect with my students and from my home and teaching the particular subject. So there are many aspects. In fact, I can say that I have learned through this pandemic.
Harry, you are such an incredible, incredible educator and man and individual, global citizen, really. I thank you so much for your time. I have one last question. You've connected your students and your community all over the world to these teachers and professors, and you've had perspectives from all over the world. You're going to be traveling as a Fulbright scholar coming up. Congratulations on that again. What does the world need now, Harry, in your opinion?
So, in my opinion, the world needs global citizens.
Mm.
And I must say that the world needs global citizens. We should break the barriers. And I have already told you that we should not limit to the racism, casteism, religion. In India, the racism, casteism, regionalism have been rampant in every part. And they just try to hang to those sentimental things. But in my opinion, everybody, every child has to know how to become a global citizen. I mean that they have to learn how they can travel the world. I mean not just physically; they can even travel virtually. They can travel, and they should know their strengths and weaknesses, and they have to work according to their strengths, and they have to come out of their weaknesses by working hard, by putting extra hard work into it. So if the all children living across the globe, if they are able to know their weakness and strengths, I think they will be the a great asset for the world. So as you all know that the Indians, in fact, working in all departments in your country. The reason actually is the Indians, they have learned the survival skills, maybe how to survive in this world. So survival skill is also the best quality of a global citizen. If you become a global citizen, you can survive anywhere in the world. So I need that the world needs the global citizens. So they are all badly need the global citizens we should break the barriers and we should know how to live any part of the world. The students have to change their approach. At the same time, the teachers must have a great educators and in order to mold them to be global citizens. Because if I say that yes, everybody has to become a global citizen means it's not possible, but they need the supportive teachers, the guiding teachers must be there. Then only it is possible.
I love that answer because I love that you say about breaking down the barriers. That's one great thing I think COVID has done is it's taking away some of these barriers that a lot of us thought were there. We didn't realize that we could connect with other people as easily as we could. We know that we've got information at our fingertips, but now we've got people at our fingertips and we're able to have these conversations. Hari, thank you so much for being with us. I would love to get my class to connect with you as well, like Tom has. I love your words about making sure that our students are global citizens. That inspires me. Your guys' relationship inspires me to work on getting my students to that point. Thank you for being here with us, Hari.
Hari, if somebody wants to help out, if somebody wants to adopt a student, if somebody wants to provide cell phones, how do they get a hold of you to help you further this mission of creating global citizens?
You know, the teachers and the professors across the globe, they have believed that my work is genuine. That's why they have been supporting me continuously. They have extending their helping hand for my work. So that's how I feel it.
Would they reach out to you through Facebook, or what media would you want people that believe in the work that you're doing to reach out to you through?
Only Facebook. Only through Facebook they have seen my activities. Mm-hmm. So they also interacted with my students, and even I gave them a detailed account how they badly need the financial assistance from you. Yes. They try to educate them. And at the same time, they showed them their homes also. Virtually, I took them to their homes with the help of my smartphone.
Yes.
I showed them living conditions, how they are living in India, and what part of India they are living. So completely, I gave them a detailed account. So that's why condensed with my words, maybe condensed with the detailed information that I provide to them. Finally, maybe they agreed to support these.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for your time, Hari. It's been wonderful talking to you. I know it's morning, it's evening here, and you have things to do. So
I'm so thankful to you, and thank you so much once again.
Wonderful. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in this week. Hopefully you're ready for another week of changing lives. We're so thankful and appreciative that you took time to listen to our guest, Hari Krishna.
We hope that as you head out, you remember that the biggest factor that plays into student success is you. Your love, your passion, your empathy, your dedication is exactly what the world needs now. Thank you for everything you do. Have a good one.